Either it's a good sign the city of Sarasota has recovered from the financial collapse in 2008 and can once again afford a department to plan growth, or it's just growing government, and we know how many of you like that. The city is adding 19 new positions, among them 3 employees in the newly reinstated planning department. ABC's Bobeth Yates has more.
With many developments like this one popping up all over the Suncoast, the community has been asking for oversight. And now they're getting it in the form of a new planning department. But those new jobs are causing some concern.
We have a lot of additional employees that are going to be requiring a lot of revenue in the future that are middle management. And I think that money is better spent on infrastructure at this point in time.
Commissioner Hagan Brody is among those voicing concern about the growing number of Sarasota city employees. The city added 19 new jobs for a combined yearly net cost that exceeds $1 million. Among them, 4 police officers, 7 maintenance and utility workers, a homeless coordinator, and several new planning department jobs.
I was sent to City Hall to really bring some fiscal responsibility to the budget process, and I just was disappointed in this budget because I don't think it emphasized those things enough.
Brody says the 3 planning department positions are causing the biggest concern because they equate to more than $285,000, adding to the already $224,000 being spent on planning services being performed by outside vendor Urban Design Studio. But while the planning department positions are under scrutiny, supporters say without them, there is no way to address the area's development problems.
When you have somebody coming in proposing a development, they're going to impact everything in our community.
Sarasota Commissioner Jan Ahorn Koch says for years development in the area has occurred almost haphazardly, with many developers not taking into account those impacts she referenced, and instead helped to create what some call a traffic nightmare and negatively impacting residents' quality of life, which Koch says a planning department will help restore.
Our community wants sidewalks that they can walk on. We want to have multimodal. We want to develop multimodal and other forms of transportation, but you can't do that without planning, so you have to have a planning department.
The 3 planning positions are part of the city's strategic plan, which also includes bringing the once dissolved planning department back to life. About 7 months ago, the city hired this man, Stephen Cover, as its planning department director.
To not have a planning department in a city, particularly a city that's growing this quickly, I really think you're missing an opportunity to have some direction with that development and what happens here in the city. Once again, if you're not proactive in staying ahead of the game, I think you're going to wind up with a lot more problems that maybe even exist today.
And Cover has already begun the process to bring in new staff. 3
new positions. One of them is Chief of Transportation Planning, which will be the lead on this transportation master plan. There's also a transportation planner who will be working underneath that individual. And then the 3rd position is a senior planner position in our long-range planning division that will be focusing on affordable housing.
Cover says their top priorities include a comprehensive traffic plan, something that has not been done in the city in over 20 years. But that plan goes beyond just studying the problem to include solving it.
And ultimately, this plan will have an implementation component that will identify what projects and what order need to be done and at what cost. So it won't just be a plan sitting on a shelf.
But while the city's new planning division tries to create a city-wide standard, the costs associated with the department and its staffers remain under fire.
I think we're 2 steps ahead of where we should be. You know, I understand that we need to grow as the city grows. But we need to let the revenue that is naturally going to come to us, we need to let that develop more.
The city of Sarasota's new budget went into effect on October the 1st. It's also important to note that despite the increases for the new jobs, the overall budget did go down because of savings in other areas. Bobeth Yates, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.